Hello, all you little honey bunches of oats. We got those beans. I love dead memes. Anyways, hello everyone. So today, I'm going to be doing another gaming review, over, the very first Devil May Cry. Now, before we start, I would just like to say this. So I don't want to outrightly say in any type of review, no matter whether it's comics, manga, or games, or whatever. I don't want to say, so I'm not going to, outrightly say, oh, this is bad, this is good. I'm just going to put what I think. I have things I dislike about this game. I have things I like about this game. I'm not gonna say whether this game is bad or I'm not gonna give it a rating. First of all, this game has been out for over 20 years now. That it's just beating a dead horse, basically. And another thing is, I am playing on the HD collection on the PlayStation 3, not the original. So some of my opinions might be a little bit different due to the fact of I'm playing kind of a different game. So anyways, kind of like the JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Phantom Blood Part 1 thing. Please go watch that video and like and comment, please, because I want to do Part 2 Battle Tendency. Please! Anyways. So, so because of that, now, I'm not gonna do artwork, but your boy is going to do things I dislike about the game and things I like. So let's get on to the things that I hate. Okay, so, hard enemies. And, so what I mean by hard enemies. So, the enemy, difficulty, especially playing on normal mode for me, was absolutely hard. I'm like, good lord. Especially, the later games, they were pretty easy. But for some reason, they were just super duper hard. That might be me. I don't know. I might be absolute dog water. I don't know. So second thing is the characterization of Dante, especially towards the end of the game. So, Dante for me is a lot like the part, or a Devil May Cry 3, 4, and 5. This, wisecracking guy who, basically disrespects his enemies, and who doesn't really get serious a lot. But in this game, it does feel, though, that, and especially these first two games, I'll be completely honest, Devil May Cry 2 does become worse at times, but Devil May Cry 1 doesn't have a great characterization of Dante. Especially towards the end, where he becomes too much of, this hard, dude, and whatever, and me personally, I just don't really like, him in this game. And Devil May Cry 2 gets worse. Devil May Cry 3 gets better. Devil May Cry 4 gets really, really good. And then Devil May Cry 5 gets even better. But, yeah. So, also, a little history lesson here, because I'm going to have to explain this dislike that I have. So, a little bit of a backstory. Please put on the please. So, it's about 2000, whatever. So Capcom is hitting it big with the Resident Evil series. During this time, Resident Evil 4 had just came out. But Konami, was making even more bigger bank. They were really covering the horror genre with Silent Hill. But they were also, doing really good with character action games with the implementation of Metal Gear Solid. And they were even reviving the 8-bit, 16-bit platforming genre with Castlevania. But with Capcom, they only really had Resident Evil. So during the time when they were making Resident Evil 4, they were actually wanting to bring in the style meter, where you would get ranked by letter on how you did good for your combat. And they wanted to bring in this juggling system and this combo system. Now the execs said no to that because they thought that it was a little too action-packed, which was a bunch of bullcrap, especially because they went on to go and make 5 and 6, which were like absolutely action-packed. So they decided to make Devil May Cry 1. So Devil May Cry 1, they used a ton of different, they used a lot of the same stuff. In the game, in both games, you go into a castle, then you go out of a castle, then you go onto a ship, but then you have to go back into a castle. And I'm going to put Leon S. Kennedy, the most beautiful boy, I'm just kidding, on this side, and then Dante on this side. They look the same. And so the thing is that they use a lot of the same character models, which, in my opinion, I think was absolutely lazy. Also, because it was a Resident Evil ripoff, I guess, they used, I don't know what it's called, but it's the camera mechanics, where you go and walk to that side of the room, and the camera changes. But you go over here, the camera changes. If you guys know what I'm talking about, please put it down in the comments. What the name of it is called, because I have no idea. But I absolutely hate that, because there's bosses in the game where you have to run away from them. But you go into a certain part of the room and you're running the other way towards the enemy. And it's dumb. And okay, sorry about that. Just had a little bit of a mental breakdown. Please help me. Oh God. Please. But yeah, so, yeah. Camera mechanics were not so great. And also the sound system was horrible. The sound mixing is absolutely horrible. There's times, and you guys know the scene because I'm going to put it at the end of the video. But the music is like super duper loud. You could barely hear the dialogue. And don't get me wrong, I love the soundtrack to this game, let me tell you. But even the voice acting is absolutely trash. It is dog water. So yeah, but on to the things I like, because this game is not bad. I'm not saying that. It just has a lot of bumpy roads. Obviously, because it was kind of a let's just throw it out there and see what sticks type of situation. Which I get that. So the things I liked. The character designs. I absolutely loved the character designs in this game. They were awesome. I know that for some people, because of the character models, or them using the same camera models, or character models, Dante and Leon. Dante still looks really, really cool in this game. So does Trish. So does freaking Nello Angelo. but they're all over, like, they're really, really good, though. Overall, they're really, really good. And then even the freaking, the weapons. the weapons are, even though there's not a lot of weapon variation in this game, which I think is a bunch of bullcrap because of the fact of, okay, for you absolute imbeciles out there who have never played Devil May Cry, you are ranked by letter from D to S to SS, and then you go SSS. The best way that you can go from one letter to the other and keep up your combo is trading. I almost blinked out there. Is switching out your guns mid combo and keeping up with that combo, which is something that's really, really cool. But when you only have, for instance, I think there's like 4 devil arms or 4 melee weapons in that game, even though those melee weapons look absolutely cool. And then the guns that are in the game still look really, really cool, but to be honest, you're only going to use the shotgun and the grenade launcher in that game after you get them. Like, unfortunately, when you absolutely buff the crap out of certain weapons and you don't do anything about it, that's going to happen. And so now you're destroying the whole thing of why you even wanted to create the game. But the design of the weapons and the design of the peeps look good. So the next thing is pretty good boss fights. There were 2 of them that I didn't like, but even though they did reuse a lot of the bosses, there's only like 7 bosses, but yet like there's like 14, actually like 21 boss fights in that game. Like only two bosses I never really liked. The other ones are absolutely awesome. So the next thing is well, okay. Before I go into this, I would just like to say something. So I know that for some, oh no, my forehead showing. Hold up. I know that for some people, when they see a game nowadays and it's 40 FPS, they refuse to buy it. Me as a gamer, I could care less about what the FPS is set at. I'm a situational type of gamer whenever it comes to frames. For instance, I base it on ratio. For instance, how many times in a session the frames are working really good and how many times they are working really bad. For instance, there are some really good games out there that only work in like 40 FPS. The one that's coming to my mind, because a lot of people have been complaining about it for a really long time, is Bloodborne. Bloodborne, I heard, is a really good game. I think it even has Game of the Year. But yet, it's at a 40 FPS. And the thing is that not many people witness slowdowns, even though it is a 40 FPS game. Now, does it run as good as a 60 FPS? No. But it still runs, and it runs smoothly without any type of slowdown. Yesterday, I made a video on Dark Souls. I really liked Dark Souls. There's times where I go to Anne Orlando or Great Lake, which, is absolutely beautiful. And I witnessed no slowdown, which is crazy at times because of how beautiful those sites are. But then I go to like the Undead Burg without the fire and the dragons and stuff, and I'm like witnessing like one frame per second. And there's times where I do want to slow down in Anne Orlando. For me, I could care less. But this game, especially for its time, this is one of the best running games I have played. I witnessed no slowdown at all. And the graphics, even though they are really crappy, especially nowadays, freaking look at God of War, or Ragnarok, they're still good. I'm not gonna lie. So yeah. So yeah. If you guys want me to do a review on if you guys want me to do a review on Devil May Cry 2, go on ahead and hit that like button. Um, I'm doing a lot of sequels to these videos and stuff. But I also don't want to push content that you guys don't want. So that's why until I hear something from you guys, I'm not gonna do. Or I might do, like, for instance, I'll probably do Battle Tendency. But with a Devil May Cry 2 review, I might not do that until way later, depending on what response I get. I don't do this to get into the algorithm. I'm not getting paid. The reason why I made this YouTube channel, and I know that I said this a lot, or I say this a lot, but I feel that I haven't done this in like a couple videos. But the reason why I do this is because I want to teach other people about comics, about manga, and what they, could, or what they could read, and maybe, help with their, gamer's block, or reader's block, or watcher's block, whatever it is. But yeah, so
Goodbye.